We are not politicians but astrologers decided provincial councillor who is also a prime candidate from the Gampaha electorate for the upcoming parliamentary election, and the White Hands Honorable RosySenanayake, State Minister for Child Development. So if you may please.
Question, but before you do that, please specifically mention to which person on stage is the question. All right, we'll get down to business. We are trying to focus here on the economic development and the UNP's vision for the precisely. And do you think there were targets that were achieved 100%, or do you claim that the 94, even if you achieved 10% as a target that was achieved?
Well, of the 94, 81 happened to be from the finance ministry, economically they increased. And of that, I must say with happiness, 85 to 90%, 100%. There are some areas that are a little bit of doubt, which basically I would put at about 75%. The areas that we were unable to fulfill was owing to the lack of cooperation from the opposition, which was the majority, with the odd times when the majority is in the opposition. And we were able to basically put frameworks to 2 of them. So that's why I was able to say 94 and 60 were not.
Thank you very much. Being able to make significant change to improve their livelihoods, especially women and children.
Yes, of course, if I talk about the ministry and the responsibility that I have as the Minister of Child Affairs, yes, we have significant change because, first of all, one has to understand that this government was a 100-day government to implement the 100-day program. This is something that people haven't understood. They expected the government immediately to do quick fixes, which didn't happen in the last 20 years, especially after the war. In a post-war scenario, 6 years had passed and nothing had happened. So they wanted immediate jobs, they wanted, their lives changed for the better, etc., etc. But they didn't understand that this government came in to implement the 100-day program, and we rightfully should have been out of power or rather gone into an election on the 23rd of April. My responsibility was to make sure that taking care of kids' safety, nutrition, education. On top of that, there was an added responsibility with regards to pregnant mothers. Because 1 in every 5th child that is born in this country is born underweight. And when a child is born underweight, the child faces enormous amounts of complications. In order to eradicate the low birth weight rate, we introduced a package that was part of the 100-day program. 20,000 rupees. In fact, it was one of my initiatives that came into the manifesto, but I was also not too sure whether we should be mentioning 20,000 rupees because as much as I wanted to, eradicate the low birth weight rate and, make sure that every pregnant mother is nourished, I also didn't want to go down the road where we would be giving cash, whether it was a cash transfer or whether it was actually goods in the form of whatever. So we drew up the concept. I had people come on board from gynecologists to child specialists to nutritionists to the UNICEF, WHO, the Health Ministry, and most importantly, the man who is seated on my right-hand side because he had to give me the money to implement this. So yes, it was done within 6 weeks. Normally, in order to implement something of this magnitude, because there are 400,000 pregnant mothers annually that would give birth in this country. And this is, we're talking about the entire country, covering the entire country. So to create the mechanism is not an easy task, it's a tedious task. It would normally take about 8 to 10 months or perhaps a year.
Is that why you were unable to execute it every month?
No, we have. There have been hiccups, just pockets of hiccups. But up to now, in certain districts, it all depends on the GA, it all depends on the AGA, it all depends on the people who are creating or rather implementing the package. Some, I fear, felt that they were deliberately holding back because they knew that we were going in for an election. And some of the people, some of the AGAs, the people on the ground, people in the well-women clinics, are stooges of the former regime. So they would, harass the pregnant mothers saying that me maasin hai, ilanga maasin hai, salli dilan hai, whereas the finance minister has basically given me a quarter worth of funds. And the funds have gone into the GAs. They've gone into the respective districts. There are hiccups. Today also I had a complaint from Giriraj. The first month itself, on the first delivery itself, there were hiccups with regards to, apparently the goods are not of the right standard. stand-in, etc., etc. And I took immediate action. I wanted a report on my desk within 24 hours. The GA did give me the report, and we took the necessary relevant authorities to task, and they were fined by a court of law. So that's one thing, and apart from that, I was able to look into the early childhood programs. And this is not part of the 100-day program, but I had many discussions with the World Bank. Discussions, we had arguments. We worked very hard to get $50 million into the country, and Washington signed the agreement on the 26th of last month, awarding us $50 million so that we could look into the areas of early childhood, especially of early childhood education.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. It's time for...
We are to move towards a knowledge economy and move away from a commodity exporter. I think we need to revamp the education system. Education system is like a pyramid. It's a system which keeps eliminating, which doesn't actually include or go like a cylinder. So we need to revamp, and that's probably why we have decided to invest 6% of the GDP. And to me, in my opinion, I don't think we can grow in a pace that we need to grow by investing 6%. I would love to see a 2-digit investment from the GDP.
Sorry, let me ask a quick question. Is the UNP government looking at 6% in the next...
Yes, it is. It's very clear. I mean, you have the manifesto in your hand. To add to what Harsha said, if you look at the manifesto, there is a lot of emphasis on education. This manifesto is based on 5 points. One is on education, how to improve on education, what to do. Every child, it will be mandatory that every child would go up to the 13th grade. Immaterial whether you pass your O-levels or not, you will be doing your A-levels. Of course, you will need O-levels when you have to enter university. It is so sad that 350,000 kids annually would enter the first grade, and it is only between 20 to 25,000 that has the provision to enter higher education institutions. 325,000 students annually fall by the wayside. And in the last 2 decades, nothing was done to accommodate these kids. So if you look at our manifesto, we give a very comprehensive package to improve on the English language, English education, which is a linked language if we are moved towards a knowledge economy. And also about the university education and technical education. Establishing 18 technical schools with international standards. I mean, if I'm to go through the whole list, I think I'm going to take up much time, but establishing of a University Education Council, establishing of an Asian Institute of Technology and Agriculture Technology, establishing an Institute for State Policy and State Governance, affiliation of state universities with global recognized universities, which we hadn't done before. Of course, there are, on and off you'll find some private universities which are affiliated to foreign universities, educational centers to be established. There is a whole array of also moving towards, by Google coming in.
Yes.
If you look at
Just one thing, I was just going through the UPFA manifesto, and now to answer Lilanti's one, they give 50,000 for everybody who fails O-level. That's the way they develop their intellectual capacity.
Good evening. Let me first congratulate all of you in advance, even though I don't know which one of you 3 gentlemen will be appointed finance minister. We see the Rajapaksa.
It might be a lady.
Please, she does good with what she's doing right now.
Your question, sir.
Right. We see the Rajapaksa camp talking still about the war victory. I mean, it's pretty stale. And then we see the UNP-led alliance blaming the UNP for every ill or whatever that has befallen the country. Now, this is not what we want to hear. We all know that. We need specifics. We need to know how the government is going to act on each.
To talk about English education, if you look at the manifesto, it's pretty clear that English for all, it is mandatory. A program will be implemented island-wide. This is the need. I spoke about it earlier as well. English education centers will be established island-wide to train English teachers, issue of professional certificates in English, and also to conduct a new university curriculum targeting towards international job market, including a special English program, would be another factor that we are looking at. And you spoke about we don't have oil, we don't have whatever, but I think Sri Lanka is a tiny island with so many resources which we haven't tapped into. Just our minerals add value to it. We don't have to go with the begging bowl to any country. Our human capital is the biggest resource we have. The tea. You know, when the world is looking at different ways in how to process tea, whether it's pink tea or white tea, retaining the antioxidant agents in there, and market it at $1,000 per kilo. We are still selling tea at $10 a kilo, you know. So it is innovative ideas. I think science, technology and innovation is the key to move towards a knowledge economy. Add value to what we have, and that will set us free. So this is, if you look at the education and university aspects in the manifesto, it very clearly states exactly how we're going to move forward. And within 60 months, in the next 5 years, this country would reach heights where we would be a global player and competitive in the world. And our younger generation, my children, will have, they'll be equipped to face any challenge, global challenge.
Thank you, Mrs. Senanayake.
Touched upon the areas where the budget, interim budget, they brought in something, but we can't pass it when the parliament was not responsive. But we were in any case able to deliver every single thing without a single additional cent on taxes imposed on the people. Our intention is to have a higher tax compliance, lower tax rate, and we'll ensure that this, with the will of the people, with the election of the new government, that these things will be put to place. But certainly, I would basically say the emphasis that has already been put in on a lot of capital investment on the areas of growth, on the areas of reform.
The National Party has been the only party that has recognized the challenges that are facing women and the pressures that women are faced with. We have actually, if you go past, the Women's Bureau was established by His Excellency Jaya Jayawardena in the past. The Women's Ministry was established by Mr. Jaya Jayawardena. The Women's Charter was brought in by His Excellency Rosy Premadasa. The Violence Against Women's Bill came in 2004 when we went over, was passed in 2005. And we have promised a women's rights bill to come into Parliament in order to look into all the areas where women are discriminated, because that's a fundamental flaw in society. I would like to talk about the experience that I felt here when I walked in actually as well. With regards to female representation, affirmative action to me is the key in order to eradicate the state where we are in, because it is pathetic. If you look at the world, even the Maldives have got far more than us in their National Assembly. Every country in this region, including Bangladesh, Pakistan, Nepal has 33% of women in the National Assembly. Bangladesh has 22%, Pakistan has 22%. India has, at the Panchayat system, 1.4 million women engaged as local council members. Rajiv Gandhi took the initiative when he was Prime Minister in the mid-90s, which was 30%. And since the women proved to be worthy enough, I mean, these were women who were illiterate. They were not learned women. They were just women from the community who went and took on the responsibility of running the councils with regards to water, education, their needs in the village. They were responsible, they were committed, they were transparent, they eradicated corruption, and the men felt that we needed to put more women. And today there is more than 50% in the Panchayat system in India. And the Indian Parliament passed a bill three years ago for 30%. We have taken the initiative to bring at the local council 25%. A quota or a reservation of seats. We have actually formulated the plan as well in how we've brought in 3 proposals, and hoping that all the other parties will agree before the next local council election. And also at the provincial, but we haven't mentioned anything about the national elections. The 20th Amendment alone, I would fight. I don't know how my fellow colleague brothers are going to respond to this. I will make sure that there is at least a 25% of women in the 20th Amendment. When I walked in here, this is an experience that I faced. First of all, the YPO is flawed. I see 90% males and just about a handful of ladies scattered here and there. When I walked in, every gentleman that I spoke with, I must say in very good faith, they said, Rosy, you know, somebody said that you're a legend. My wife would vote for you. You know, the women are voting for you. Why the women? This is not laughing. attitude we have towards our women. And this is why the women are discriminated in this country. We need to have a paradigm shift with regards to the attitudes and the mindsets of the people of this nation if we are to move forward. We cannot develop a country, like Iran said, if we do not have the women on an equal path.
Yes, on the issue.